Greeting viewers, this is Umar from the Pakistan chapter. We will be making these weekly news videos in order to provide authentic and timely updates. The main subject of these videos would be the important events happened in the past week. If you're watching this video for the first time and haven't liked or subscribed to our page and would want to watch more of such videos, please like and subscribe to our channel. Coming back to the weekly news update, on first is the re-elections in Pakistan. Re-elections were held on 21 national and provincial assembly seats on April 21st, Sunday. In Punjab, the election was held on 12 provincial and 2 national assembly seats. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the election was held on 4 seats. 2 seats in Balochistan and 1 national assembly seat in Sindh was also up for grabs. The question is, were these elections free and fair? The same question is being raised by international media as well as local stakeholders. Some sources also claim that Forms 45 and 47 were signed under pressure or influenced by the residing officers. All these rumors should be addressed properly because not just the international stakeholders, but also a lot of young blood is losing hope in this country and its democratic system. And number second is the Iranian president's visit to Pakistan. Iranian President Sayyid Ebrahim Raisi visited Pakistan on a 3-day trip. During his visit to the country, the Iranian president held meetings with the president, prime minister, chief of army staff, chairman Senate, speaker of National Assembly, and the chief ministers and governors of Sindh and Punjab. He held talks about the relations between the two neighboring countries and was keen to improve the ties. However, White House is not very happy with these meetings and has warned Pakistan not to get involved with any kind of trade or association with Iran. These sanctions has been placed on us since independence, but the question is, are we really independent? It is time we think about ourselves before fulfilling the Western interests. On number 3 is the Cypher case. The Islamabad High Court questioned the special prosecutor of FIA on Monday about why a copy of Cypher or its contents had not been shared with the trial court judge. The judge, Justice Mangal Hassan Aurangzeb, noted this during the appeals of former Prime Minister Imran Khan and former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi against their conviction in the Cypher case.
शाह साहब घबराए तो नहीं आप?
नहीं चलो
रास्ता छोड़ देंगे
थोड़ा साथ अंदर
एक मुल्क 100 दस्तूर ना मंजूर ना मंजूर एक मुल्क 100 दस्तूर ना मंजूर ना मंजूर देखिए कुरैशी साहब पाकिस्तान
On number 4 is the PTI's concern over the health of Bushra Bibi. Pakistan tehreek-e-insaf expressed grave concerns about the health of Bushra Bibi, the wife of former Prime Minister and PTI founder Imran Khan, after ambulance and medical personnel unexpectedly arrived at Banigala late Monday night. It warned that those in power would be held accountable if anything happens to Bushra, asserting that her safety and security are now at risk. PTI spokesperson Rauf Hassan demanded that Bushra be immediately transferred to 𝐁𝐸𝐻𝐻 Hospital, where doctors of her and Imran Khan's choice could examine her health. He warned that if anything happened to her, those responsible, including Punjab Chief Minister Maryam Nawaz and the jail superintendent, would be held accountable. PTI chairman Barrister Gohar Ali Khan criticized the government for not sharing relevant information with the party about her condition, adding that Bushra Bibi is being held at Banigala sub-jail unlawfully. On number 5 is the ZARDARI'S NAB immunity. NAB has agreed to a request to stop criminal proceedings against President Asif Ali Zardari. In a written response submitted to the Accountability Court regarding the Toshakhana vehicle reference, NAB's prosecution stated that President Zardari is protected by the constitutional immunity. Last week, NAB had also cleared former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in the same reference. Not to forget, this is the same case in which acting Prime Minister at that time, Imran Khan, was thrown out and sentenced to 14 years jail. This puts our judicial system under controversy. On number 6 is the KARACHI'S earthquake. Karachi, the city of lights, on Wednesday, April 24th evening was jolted by a 3.2 magnitude earthquake, sending tremors across several areas of the city. Thanks to Allah, no casualties were reported. On number 7 is the Modi's hate comments. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent comments against Muslims at an election rally in Rajasthan has caused widespread anger during the ongoing general elections. However, the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) is expected to win the elections for the third consecutive time.
उसका मंगल सूत्र वो एक सोने का कीमत का मुद्दा नहीं है, उसके जीवन के सपनों से जुड़ा हुआ है। तुम उसे छीनने की बात कर रहे हो अपने मैनिफेस्टो में। गोल ले लेंगे, सबको वितरित कर देंगे। और पहले जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे। घुसपैठियों को बांटेंगे। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा?
On number 8 is the Gaza update. It has almost been 6 months since Israel has been inhumanly killing several Palestinians, including children, women, and elderly persons. No mercy has been shown to the young or old. In a recent update, almost 400 dead bodies have been found at Al Nasir Medical Complex in southern Gaza Strip, which has put the world in extreme sorrow. The UN Rights Chief Spokesperson said some of them had their hands tied, which of course indicates serious violations of international human rights law and international humanitarian law, and these need to be subjected to further investigations.
The situation in the Middle East is growing more dire by the hour. The war in Gaza is raging and risks spiraling throughout the region. Divisions are splintering societies, tensions threaten to boil over. At a crucial moment like this, it is vital to be clear on principles, starting with the fundamental principle of respecting and protecting civilians. I have condemned unequivocally the horrifying and unprecedented 7 October acts of terror by Hamas in Israel. Nothing can justify the deliberate killing, injuring, and kidnapping of civilians or the launching of rockets against civilian targets. All hostages must be treated humanely and released immediately and without conditions. And I respectfully note the presence among us of members of their families. Excellencies, it is important to also recognize the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. The Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation. They have seen their land steadily devoured by settlements and plagued by violence, their economy stifled, their people displaced, and their homes demolished. Their hopes for a political solution to their plight have been vanishing. But the grievances of the Palestinian people cannot justify the appalling attacks by Hamas, and those appalling attacks cannot justify the collective punishment of the Palestinian people. Excellencies, even war has rules. We must demand that all parties uphold and respect their obligations under international humanitarian law, take constant care in the conduct of military operations to spare civilians, and respect and protect hospitals, and respect the inviolability of UN facilities, which today are sheltering more than 600,000 Palestinians. The relentless bombardment of Gaza by Israeli forces, the level of civilian casualties, and the wholesale destruction of neighborhoods continue to mount and are deeply alarming. I mourn and honor dozens of UN colleagues working for UNRWA. Sadly, at least 35 and counting, killed in the bombardment of Gaza over the last 2 weeks. I owe to their families my condemnation of these and many other similar killings. The protection of civilians is paramount in any armed conflict. Protecting civilians can never mean using them as human shields. Protecting civilians does not mean ordering more than 1 million people to evacuate to the south, where there is no shelter, no food, no water, no medicine, and no fuel, and then continuing to bomb the south itself. I am deeply concerned about the clear violations of international humanitarian law that we are witnessing in Gaza. Let me be clear, no party to an armed conflict is above international humanitarian law. Excellencies, Thankfully, some humanitarian relief is finally getting into Gaza, but it is a drop of aid in an ocean of need. In addition, our UN fuel supplies in Gaza will run out in a matter of days, and that would be another disaster. Without fuel, aid cannot be delivered, hospitals will not have power, and drinking water cannot be purified or even pumped. The people of Gaza need continuous aid delivery at a level that corresponds to the enormous needs, and that aid must be delivered without restrictions. I salute our UN colleagues and humanitarian partners in Gaza working under hazardous conditions and risking their lives to provide aid to those in need. They are an inspiration. To ease epic suffering, make the delivery of aid easier and safer, and facilitate the release of hostages, I reiterate my appeal for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. Excellencies, even in this moment of grave and immediate danger, we cannot lose sight of the only realistic foundation for a true peace and stability, a two-state solution. Israelis must see their legitimate needs for security materialized, and Palestinians must see their legitimate aspirations for an independent state realized in line with the United Nations resolution, international laws, and previous agreements. And finally, we must be clear on the principle of upholding human dignity. Polarization and dehumanization are being fueled by a tsunami of disinformation. We must stand up to the forces of anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim bigotry, and all forms of hate. Mr. President, Excellencies, today is United Nations Day, marking 78 years since the UN Charter entered into force. That charter reflects our shared commitment to advance peace, sustainable development, and human rights. On this UN Day, at this critical hour, I appeal to all to pull back from the brink before the violence claims even more lives and spreads even further. Thank you very much.